All right, so today's the day. We get some confirmation for the C8 Corvette ZR1. Confirmation of bad news that I was hoping wasn't coming, but I had a feeling it was. Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. Thanks for pressing play. My name is Justin, and this is Horsepower Obsessed, the channel where you can come to for Corvette information, Corvette ownership experiences, Corvette maintenance, Corvette rumors, Corvette news. If it's got anything to do with Corvette, you're going to find it right here on this channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the C8 Corvette ZR1. Yeah, that car that we've been talking about for a couple months now that is completely MIA, that's the car. Now, today we got confirmation of something that was very disappointing, something that I had a feeling GM was toying with the idea of because I had heard rumors of it, but hadn't seen any evidence of it up until today. And without further ado, that news is the fact that Chevy is now going to mandate that you keep the ZR1 for 1 year before you're allowed to sell it. Yeah, you heard me right. 1 year. With the previous models, the C8 Corvette Z06, the C8 Corvette E-Ray, it was 6 months. And even 6 months was a little bit odd to me. GM implemented this strategy to try to prevent flippers, but what they're really doing is hurting the end user. They're not actually stopping flippers. They're not stopping price gougers. All they're really doing is tying your hands to make sure that you can't sell a car if you buy it within a year. I don't love this strategy in any way, shape, or form because up until this point, it has not stopped a flipper from flipping. This is what they're going to do. If someone wants that car bad enough, they're going to buy it for over MSRP, whether it has the warranty or not. This is not something that's going to really stop people from flipping the cars. We've already seen evidence of the fact that it hasn't really stopped flippers. Now, this particular letter just came out thanks to our friends over at the Corvette Blogger. We actually have a copy of the actual retention letter. And this is something directly from Chevrolet. It says, congratulations on your decision to purchase or lease a high-powered variant of the 2025 Corvette. It goes on to say all the special things about the Corvette, but it specifically spells out the Corvette E-Ray and Z06 as having the 6-month retention policy and the Corvette ZR1 as, a 1 year retention policy. The dates start the day you take delivery of the vehicle. If you decide to sell or otherwise transfer ownership of your 2025 E-Ray, Z06, or ZR1 within the first 6 to 12 months after delivery, you're going to be ineligible to place vehicle reservations or place a sold order with a dealership for certain high demand models as identified by GM, including but not limited to future Chevrolet Corvette models. The bumper to bumper powertrain sheet metal electric vehicle propulsion E-Ray only tire and accessory coverages under GM's new vehicle limited warranty will be voided. But interestingly, it does not include the EV battery warranty coverage, which will not be voided. So that's kind of an interesting little addendum there, is that the E-Ray will not have its battery warranty coverage voided regardless if you sell it within the first 6 months or not. But we're not really focusing on the E-Ray or even the Z06 in this. Those cars have had a 6-month retention policy for as long as they've existed, and like I said, I have seen zero evidence that this stops flipping. So to think that adding another 6 months to it for the ZR1 is going to prevent flippers, it's the definition of insanity. Doing the same things over and over and over again and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. Now, there is plenty to discuss here with the C8 Corvette ZR1 at this point. As you guys know by now, there were allocations given out in the month of February that were since pulled back and were talked about possibly being given the ZTK option after all. But those people have heard absolutely nothing since then, and we are coming up on a month since those allocations were originally pulled back. And we have no further information as to what the heck is going on with these allocations. Now, what's really interesting about this particular forum from Chevrolet is if you buy the E-Ray, the Z06, or the ZR1, of course, you're going to have to sign this form in order for it to really be implemented. What does that mean exactly? Well, when I bought my Z06, I didn't sign this form. They never gave me this form. This was never something that I had to sign. And I've talked to a lot of my subscribers who have purchased E-Rays or Z06s that have not had to sign this form. Which begs the question, how well put together is all of this stuff? How is this all operating over at Chevrolet? Well, let's take a look at the builder. So you guys know the build and configurator tool online for your 2025 Corvette ZR1. First off, let's notice right off the bat that the front radiator cooler for the battery pack has been removed. If you guys remember, I made a video not too long ago talking about the fact that you could build a ZR1 and in the front driver's side radiator area, you could clearly see the vertical radiator radiator for the battery cooling, which is obviously there for the Zora car, but that has been removed. It is no longer visible now on the ZR1. That's pretty interesting. There was also the front strakes that were made out of carbon fiber that were an option that no one had seen before. That has now been removed as well. But what gets really interesting here is if we scroll down to the 3LZ and click View All Features, and then scroll down some more under Warranty, here we go. Bumper-to-bumper limited warranty, 3 years, 36,000 miles. The bumper-to-bumper coverage will be voided if ownership of the vehicle is transferred from the original owner within the first 6 months after delivery. The sheet metal, same exact thing, first 6 months after delivery. So what does this tell us? This tells us GM really does not seem to know what the heck is going on. The left hand doesn't seem to know what the right hand is doing. On one hand, we're being told that there's a 1-year retention policy. On the other hand, we're building the car online, seeing vertical radiators that suggest that the Zora is going to be coming soon, canards or fender spats that aren't even an option. Then we're seeing that there should only be a 6-month retention policy for the ZR1 as spelled out on their actual website. But then we're getting an official verbiage from Chevrolet that says it's actually going to be a year for the Corvette ZR1. Now, with all of this said, I can guarantee you the piece of paper that says that the Corvette ZR1 is going to have a 1-year retention policy coming directly from GM is going to be the final word. There's no doubt in my mind. We are looking at a 1-year retention plan now with the Corvette ZR1. My concern is just how messy all of this is. It seems like the information is totally scattered throughout the internet. It's all hit or miss as to whether or not it's correct or following any kind of actual pattern. And even if we do settle on the fact that the Corvette is a 1-year retention policy that you have to sign, most of the dealerships aren't even getting you to sign it before leaving with the car. Like I said, I didn't sign one for my Z06, and I know a handful of my subscribers didn't on their Z06s or E-Rays as well. So there doesn't seem to be a lot of stability or definition in these rules over at GM. It's pretty frustrating as a customer to see this car going down the road that it's going, because I am a gigantic Corvette enthusiast, and it seems like it just keeps getting worse with every performance variant. The availability is worse, the carbon fiber constraints are worse, the retention policies are worse, and yet the real problems aren't being fixed. The flippers still exist, the over MSRP charges are still happening at the dealership levels, and availability is still almost zero. I don't understand how we're 5, almost 6 years now into the C8 Corvette lineup, and we're still having the same issues we've had from day one. It's insane. I appreciate the fact that GM is trying to stop flippers, and this retention policy is their attempt at that. But I feel like it should not be that difficult for them to stop the dealerships from charging over MSRP. If you're going to stop me from selling the car within the first year, then you should definitely stop the dealerships from charging over MSRP. It's only fair at that point. If I can't sell the car for a profit, they shouldn't be able to sell it for a profit either. A profit over top of what their normal profit is on the car, I mean. Do not charge over MSRP. Then you can tell me I can't sell that car for 10 years and I would still buy it. But if you're going to force me to pay over MSRP and then you're going to tell me not to sell it for a year, that is extremely unfair and it's not helping anybody. Obviously, I'm a little fired up about this, guys, because this affects all of us. Anybody who wants a Z06, an E-Ray, or a ZR1, this is a piece of paper that you may have to sign. From what I can tell, we're all supposed to sign this. As I said earlier, I didn't have to. The paper was literally never put in front of me. It wasn't because I'm a special customer or anything. There are a lot of people out there that did not sign this paper. But if you go to buy a ZR1 first or second round allocations, I guarantee you're signing this paper. And a lot of you guys who are buying the ZR1 this early, you're probably paying over MSRP. And if you are, it's just not fair that you're not able to sell it for over MSRP because you paid over MSRP. None of this makes any sense to me, especially since there is plenty of reasons why you may need to sell said ZR1 within the first year for a good reason outside of trying to make a profit. Maybe something happens and you become ill and you need to sell the car to pay for medical bills and things like that. How is it that GM can say, nope, can't sell it for a year? All kinds of things could happen within a year that would be a legitimate reason to have to sell a car. I'm just very concerned that we're going down the wrong path here. We're seeing a lot of the same problems over and over and over again and it would be nice to see GM fix some of this stuff at the dealer level and stop them from charging over MSRP. That's where the real problem's at. Anyway, guys, I wanted to bring this news out to you because this is something that just hit today. Corvette blogger shared it almost immediately, which is really awesome. And when they showed the 1-year retention policy, I was pretty upset by that because I was certain, based on the fact that the ZR1 build and configurator tool online said that it was going to be 6 months again, that it was going to stay 6 months. But there had been a lot of rumors circulating for a couple months now saying that it was going to actually be bumped up to a year. And I was hoping that wasn't going to happen, but lo and behold, here it is. That's going to do it for today's video though, guys. If you liked what you saw, smash the thumbs up button. Help me out with the YouTube algorithm. It really helps circulate this video out to other people. I know it's not really news that you can necessarily love, but if you like the fact that I'm bringing it to you, hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I'm going to have tons of content coming like this you're not going to want to miss. And as always, guys, stay obsessed.